Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks.
Oh my God.
We are two best friends that like to recap and dissect our favorite horror films while drinking our favorite beverages. I'm Emma, and as always, I am joined by the wonderful Allie.
I'm Allie, and I'm still a shoemaker by trade.
And why are you still a shoemaker by trade,
Because
Allison?
I've lived for thousands of years.
Allie, how the fuck have you been?
Great. I went on a trip to
To Valentine's Day?
to Valentine's Day. I went on a trip to Valentine's Day with my husband, who's my Valentine. So it was great. It was fun. We had a lot of food. I'm still full and probably ate too much. But how have you been?
I've been great, and I've just been getting very, very excited for St. Patrick's Day. I don't know what this accent is. It's definitely not Irish, so I apologize to
Sounds
any
like
of our
Scottish.
Irish listeners. I think I mentioned this on the last episode, but I've also been dabbling in some new horror films. So I think on the last episode, I mentioned wanting to watch Speak No Evil, and it was so good. It has James McAvoy, and he's fucking ripped, dude.
He's hot.
Oh, he's so hot in every film, but oh my God, he's like ripped in this film.
Even hot in Narnia. I feel it.
He's even hot as like Professor X in X-Men.
He can get it anytime. So
Is that controversial? I'm sorry. Okay,
No.
let's get back on topic. So, Allison, what film are we covering today?
we're covering Leprechaun 2 of 1994. Just a couple notes. It's giving so much Princess Bride vibes. And it goes down to like the haircuts, the romance, the red dresses. I'm so here for it. Something interesting to me is that this movie came out the year after the original Leprechaun. And I'm like, wow, that's a really fast turnaround time.
That's a super fast turnaround. This film also is the second in the Leprechaun franchise that we have covered. So if you are interested in listening to the very first Leprechaun to really get you into the St. Patrick's Day spirit, we have that available for you guys to listen to at any time.
Honestly, it's a great film. So go watch the first one too. But if you haven't seen Leprechaun 2, this is your warning. We'll be recapping everything that happens. So if you don't want us to ruin it for you, stop now and go watch it somewhere. But if you're ready to come on this, leprechaun-y run with us, let's fucking go for it.
If you want to ride a Irish
Customized go-kart.
on the track with us, then
Yeah.
please feel free.
Feel free.
Come on over, bring your gold, bring your Irish whiskey.
I love it.
On his 1000th birthday, an evil leprechaun selects the descendant of one of his slaves to have as his bride, leaving it up to the girl's boyfriend to save her.
Good enough, I guess.
This film, to me, I'm just going to say it right here at the top, it is an hour and 20 minutes, and this is exactly what happens. I mean, there's really no fluff. The synopsis, I think, rings true to everything that this film is about. They really get right into it. I'm not saying it's a riveting plot or anything, but I will say that they get right into it, and this is what it is about.
I thought, yes, great synopsis. I thought there was fluff that, because my attention span, I'm like, could we not do this?
Ollie's always like, could this be an email?
I also hate emails, so.
Do you feel like this one was better or worse than the first Leprechaun?
I have so many thoughts on this because I thought it was so entertaining, but I loved the first one so much just because of the cast and everything that happened and like the quirkiness. So I guess if I had to say if it's better or worse, this one was worse, but I didn't hate it.
I personally can't wait until next year when we do Leprechaun 3 because that is my favorite when they go to Vegas.
I think producer is waiting for us to get to the hood.
So anyways, guys, if you keep listening to our podcast years from now, we're planning on doing all the Leprechauns, one each year. So get fucking ready. And I haven't checked this to be 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that this film has the lowest IMDb rating.
You just wait.
Out of all the films we've done, as a 4.6 out of 10.
Girl, do you want to talk about low rates? Let's talk about Rotten Tomatoes, okay? Tomato meter is 6%.
Wow.
I'm fairly certain that's the lowest one we've covered before. And the popcorn meter is 29%, which is more promising. And it's just like, I don't understand because it's not that bad.
I will say I agree with you there. We were watching it on Amazon Prime, And it was weird because we both looked up the ratings as we were watching it and we're like, yes, it's so shitty everywhere. But on actual apps where people are watching it, it has pretty good ratings.
Yeah. So there was a mixed bag of between critics and audience reviews. Like only 17 critics reviewed this and they all shit on it.
That's a low number though. That's not that many critics.
No, I know. And then 382 audience reviews said like, hey, it was cute. It was fun.
I think when you break it down to what it fucking is, I mean, it's not gonna be an Oscar-winning film, right? But
no, you're watching this because like you want to watch a funny, quirky, kitschy film.
Yeah, you want there to be bad acting, bad effects, and Warwick Davis.
Exactly. Oh my God. Okay. Yes, that's exactly what it is, and that's what I love.
Same.
But we have Warwick Davis. Obviously, you know he was in Leprechaun, the original Leprechaun, and he plays a leprechaun. And this king can literally do anything. I just have to always shout this out. He was Wicket in Star Wars, and Wicket is my hero. I love him so much. And I implore you to go watch a clip of him like at the BAFTA Awards that he just won. His acceptance speech is amazing. He is so funny and so genuine. He made me laugh and cry at the exact same time. And it's what he won was basically a Lifetime Achievement Award because he could literally do anything.
He is amazing. He is such a great human. And I feel like one thing I truly appreciate is how he has stayed the Leprechaun in all of the Leprechaun franchise films. For him to be such a big star, and yes, Leprechaun maybe was one of his earlier films, but there have been a lot. There's 6 now, right? 6 or 7. He has stayed in that role the entire time because he recognizes that people like us who love the franchise, it means so much to us that he's kept that role the entire time.
And exactly what you just said, like, and bro, like Mark Hamill said that Warwick has more accolades in Star Wars than he does. And I'm like, Mark Hamill, okay. What the?
I'm sorry, Luke. Jesus.
Bummer.
Maybe Warwick is your father.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. I don't mean to start some drama.
I know.
And the rest of our cast for this film, we have Charlie Heath, who plays Cody, and Siobhan Durkin, who plays Bridget. And then we have Sandy Barron, who plays Morty. And unfortunately, he is no longer with us, so R.I.P. Uncle Morty.
I love Morty.
He was arguably one of the best characters in this film, easily. And he actually had a lot of accolades a lot earlier in his career. It was kind of cool to look at some of the films that he did in the past and just like see his young self. But I think it was like really cool that this was one of his last films.
Was he hot?
I don't want to be a dick and say no.
Oh, okay.
But I guess I'm being a dick and saying no.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
Here
fair
we are.
Yeah, but he was a homie.
He was a homie. He was a homie. This film is the only Leprechaun film to take place on St. Patrick's Day. However, this film was released on April 6th, and we haven't mentioned it yet, but it didn't really do that well in the box office. I think it made like $600 and something thousand out of a multi-million-dollar budget when this was filmed, and it was released on April 6th. I'm sorry, but how do you expect a Leprechaun film to do well when you are releasing it a few weeks after St. Patrick's Day? Like, that was a big miss, in my opinion.
They were probably rushing because they had just released the first Leprechaun, you know? Like,
they wanted to keep up the momentum of what was going on. So crazy. But this was the last film in the series to be given a theatrical release until Leprechaun Origins from 2014. Isn't that crazy? So none of the other Leprechauns after this, none of them were theater releases. They all went straight, what do they call that? VOD, video on demand. No wonder I was renting them a lot at Blockbuster at the time. Oh, RIP.
RIP. I miss Blockbuster. Seriously.
I miss Blockbuster so much. Another one that I have is that one of the discarded drafts focused on how Leprechaun would seek revenge on Tori Redding, played by Jennifer Aniston in the first film, tricking her into marrying him. And Jennifer Aniston was offered $25,000 to make this story come to life, but she refused to retake her character because she was focused on the series Friends at the time, which I'm not going to lie, probably a smart choice. But I think, Als, you and I have some opinions on this bride of this film, and it would have been cool to see Jen Aniston come back.
I thought this entire time. I'm like, why the fuck wouldn't you just get Jennifer Aniston?
In hindsight, she made the right choice.
Yeah,
But I also think she could
for herself.
She could have done Leprechaun too and been a cult. I mean, we love her. We loved her in the first one. Like she could have kept that going. But I digress.
No, she's married to whoever the fuck that one guy was, the painter.
There you go.
She's already married. In the first Leprechaun, she's married now to that guy.
Something else I wanted to mention is that Heather Langenkamp. And if you don't know who that is, I feel sorry for you.
We can't help you.
Yeah, we can't help you, but just go watch Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
She was offered the role of Bridget, but turned it down to work on New Nightmare from 1994 instead, which also, hindsight, that was a great decision of hers.
True.
And that's kind of all I have for fun facts. But I mean, before we get into the film, shall we?
We shall. Today, I am drinking my White Claw, my black cherry White Claw. I can't do an Irish accent.
I was like, are you trying to do an Irish accent?
I was trying.
What's happening?
Now I'm going to stop. And some JMO in honor of the holiday and my cat that's named Jameson. What are you drinking?
I am drinking a Pinot Grigio from the brand Bev, which is a woman-owned canned wine company. But I love Bev, and they have amazing rosé. I'm also joining you on the JMO jam. And I'm so glad that we have a little JMO together. Allie and I do not drink whiskey, but we were like, we have to have a little bit of a little whiskey, and Irish whiskey comes into play a lot in this funny little Leprechaun film.
All right, should we take our shots now?
Let's do it.
Okay, ready?
Cheers.
Cheers, bitch.
This film opens once upon a time in Ireland, where we see a man named William O'Day is frantically trying to escape something. He's in the woods running, and he's suddenly being choked by a collar that he has around his neck, and he collapses.
And I'm like, this, when I first watched this, I was like, this reminds me of Lord of the Rings for some reason. And then I listened back to our podcast of the original Leprechaun, and I said that too.
Oh, okay.
For his lair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The collar on William's neck is because William apparently tried to steal the leprechaun's gold a long time ago, and now the leprechaun can control him with it, which is rather scary. It doesn't have a leash or a chain or anything. He's just controlling it with his magic.
Here's my question. Is the magic new? Did he have this magic in the first one?
He did have it, but I'm really glad that you said that, Als. I was doing some reading about the different Leprechaun films, and there is a lot of debate about the level of magic that the Leprechaun has, because almost every single film is a little bit different.
Well, I mean, good for them. But like, I was like, what the Matilda is this?
What the Matilda
yeah.
is this? Then the leprechaun appears and he releases the choke on Mr. Williams' collar. Even though the collar's still on him, it was like choking him somehow.
And I'm just like, is this bitch his slave? And what made it him like have a slave? I'm not sure.
Well, I think it's because William tried to steal his gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
He didn't have a slave in the first one.
No, but I think it happened just something we didn't see.
I need backstory.
Yeah. There
backstory?
needed to be a little bit of backstory on William. Yeah.
And while William's getting sort of released, he still has that chokehold on him. Leprechaun makes an amazing appearance, and he's like laughing like hee 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 hee. And he says, "Scream as you may, scream as you might. If you try to escape, you'll be dead at night." And I'm like, Hallmark is calling again.
He could be a great greeting card writer.
And Emma, does he look different in this movie?
He does. And you may disagree, but
okay.
There apparently is not a clear distinction between, is this the same exact leprechaun in all of these films? Or is it just a bunch of leprechauns and they all look the same, but they do kind of vary a little bit in personality and maybe vary a little bit in looks? Because this film's leprechaun, we have black pants now. He's got a little bit of a more intense look, where if you go to the very first leprechaun, he had red pants. He didn't have as many like deep face wrinkles. It seems like he was doing really good skincare, in the first film. But now we've got this guy who definitely has some differing looks.
I will say fashion changes.
That is true. Trends change.
Trends do change. And in my tiny little baby heart, I think it's still him. the same leprechaun.
We don't really ever get confirmation. It's sort of whatever you want to believe, I guess. And to be fair, I have not seen any of the later Leprechaun films in a very long time. And I'm going to be real with you guys. I probably don't intend on watching the next one until we do our next one next year for St. Patrick's Day.
Same.
But I'll let you guys know. Maybe, Als, that's a good thing that we can talk about maybe at the end of the entire franchise. Like, what did we think about all the different leprechauns? Are they the same person, or are they different leprechauns with different storylines?
Well, okay.
Now we're getting deep. We just started. We can't get this deep yet.
I'll put that in my back pocket. And I love how while he's unshackling William's collar, kind of, he's like, bro, your shoes are fucking dirty as shit. And he wipes him down with like a towel.
He's such a good cobbler.
I'm like, never forget, he's a cobbler by trade.
Leprechaun then reveals that it is St. Patrick's Day, and it is also his 1000th birthday, meaning, for some reason, that he can choose any woman that he wants to be his bride. And William asks how he's going to choose his bride, and he says something like, she sneezes once, she sneezes twice, she'll be me bride when she sneezes thrice.
And he's like, if nobody says, God bless ya, after the third sneeze, then it's automatically his wife? What kind of system is that?
I mean, yeah, it is kind of crazy.
Also, way to pick a spouse, you know? Shit.
I mean, honestly, the producer sneezed almost 3 times today, and I'm like, you better watch it because I'm about to take you as my husband right now.
I sneezed so many times while I was watching this. I'm not even kidding.
Well, you're already married. Okay.
But the leprechaun can probably
He
just
could
come.
get you.
He could get me. I don't know. You know?
You are his type, the long blonde hair.
He's my type. Seriously. I'm more curious also about the lore. Like, so we were just with William. He was 1,000 years old, and now it's 1,000 years later. Why can't you get married like in between?
Great question. Maybe it's some like weird leprechaun rule.
Okay,
I
sure.
don't know. We'll have to ask him. Then Leprechaun tells William, bro, I'll set you free after I am wed. And William's like, bet.
What does bet mean?
Like, I bet you will. Like, we'll see. Cut that out. Allie needs to not reveal that she's such a millennial and doesn't know what bet means.
For sure. Anyways.
I love you. I'm sorry. I'm being feisty today.
You are. I'm going to get my boxing gloves out. Shit. Leprechaun
You're gonna
probably
get your
has
shamrocks out.
No, Leprechaun in his arsenal of everything has boxing gloves for me so I can beat you up. Anywho, William is like, why the fuck should I believe you? And he's like, duh. The sacred vow of the wee people. And they shake on it. And I would immediately be like, yes.
I believe the sacred
I
vow
trust
of
you.
the wee people.
Yes. So apparently they're like, bet.
Good job. Well, I don't think it's they. It's usually one person is like, bet.
Okay. Okay, whatever. But they shook on it, and now they see this woman doing laundry in the woods, and I'm like, why would you do laundry in the woods? This is so random.
Good question.
And
maybe there's good airflow in the forest.
I mean, I bet that breeze does, like,
it hits.
It hits.
Bet.
You guys, I can't handle this slang. But unknowingly, as the sheet comes down, why does she have a sheet in the, whatever? As she takes this sheet.
You guys, I think that Jameson is getting to me a little bit.
Okay, reel it in. As she takes her sheet down, did they have sheets back then? Okay. Do you know that?
I think they definitely had pieces of cloth. Maybe they didn't call it a sheet, but it still had to be washed.
I'm going to hit you with a fauche. Okay?
Oh, I love a fauche. Okay.
I'm going to hit you with a fauche.
Go ahead.
And she's taking a sheet down. We don't know what it's for. I thought she was naked at first, but like whatever. And
I think that's what they were kind of alluding to because her shadow was like behind the sheet, kind of sexy, like, here's my body.
Like sexy body.
Do you think I'm sexy?
And then Leprechaun was like, I think you're sexy. And he's like, that's the one. And William's like, yeah, bitch.
Yeah, William's like, yeah. Because he just sees the shadow.
Yeah. And then he realizes as she's taking the sheet down, it's his fucking daughter. And then Leprechaun is like, your daughter? Really? Then we're going to be related now. Amazing.
He's like stoked. He's like, William, bro, family.
And I'm also like, does William kind of look like Daddy Pedro Pascal? No, he does. Let's put a poll up.
We'll put a poll up. We literally see this man for 2.5 seconds in the film, but we'll put a poll up.
So, and then as he's like, fuck, that's my daughter, William is begging.
The thing is, Owls, they're both looking at her kind of creepily from like the woods, being stalkerish, and Leprechaun blows some dandelions at her to make her sneeze. And then she sneezes.
Again, like, what in the Matilda are his new powers?
I know. I don't know why now he can just sneeze and get a wife, but...
And why not after just like one sneeze say, God bless ya?
Yeah, no, totally.
Leprechaun is like, don't worry, I'll be gentle with her on our wedding night.
Disgusting.
Actually, we're so like...
Guys, anyone who is an Irish listener of the podcast, we love you. And please let us know how we're doing. We're not doing well. I know that. If you could gas us up a little bit. And William disrupts the ritual of this like 3 sneeze scenario, being like, God bless you, my child, which voids the leprechaun's ability to claim her. And I have a question here. What about the words God bless you voids Leprechaun's weird, evil marriage spell?
Celtic?
Irish people are usually pretty hardcore Catholics. I mean, not everybody, not putting a blanket statement out there, but like historically, I would say Catholicism is very popular in the Irish community, which like they believe in God. So like, why saying God bless you? I don't know. I'm just curious. I'm curious about that crossroads.
What would the producer say?
It's a movie. Okay, moving on.
Mm-hmm. As he says, God bless you, that means that now Leprechaun's going to kill William, obviously.
Oh, yeah. He's like, William, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck
basically.
you. And I'm like, oh, a father's struggle between his fate or his child's fate. Good. He chose a good one.
He did.
And also, I'm confused about like the location. What are the chances that his daughter is right there, like doing laundry? How does he not know?
Oh, yeah, totally. You mean he's going back to like them even finding the girl?
Yeah. He's basically, Leprechaun said, I'm going to find a bride. You're my slave. And here she, yeah. So
these are great questions. We don't know.
I need answers.
I think it's called convenience for the film.
It's a movie. It's a movie.
And very enraged, Leprechaun strangles William with the collar, killing him, and vows to return in 1,000 years to marry William's descendant. And I love this part because he ends everything, Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I was like, I love this last sentiment to him. And I'm like, why is it only 1,000 years difference that you can boo up?
It's a good question. Good question.
I have so many questions. I'm sorry, you guys. And William's daughter hears something and runs up and sees her dad and does this crazy ass scream. And then we get that amazing Leprechaun 2 title. After that title scene, we get into the opening credits and he's like tracing the lineage. And I'm like, wow, he's landed now on a different gal who's in 1994. And I'm like, bro, should you work for 23andMe?
And in this title scene, I love the graphics because it's like this old-timey map artistic thing where it is the lineage of all of the different women who are in the O'Day family. And so it's taking you down through like the years of all of the lineage. And then it's taking you 1,000 years later to now we are in modern day Los Angeles. And now we have the descendant of William O'Day 1,000 years later. And we meet 16-year-old Bridget, Callum is her name. And she's a descendant of the O'Day bloodline. And she is in downtown Hollywood. She's meeting up with her boyfriend, Cody. He is trying to pitch a dark side of Hollywood tour to some poor tourists. And I love this part because he has like a hearse and he's doing one of those tours where they like go around and you see all the different spots where like famous people have passed, which is so sad.
I honestly would fucking kill to go on this tour.
You and I would do this in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And there's actually an amazing company that we're friends with on Instagram called Graveline Tours. We should reach out to them about doing a tour soon.
Please let us on your bus or
on your
whatever.
hearse.
On your hearse, yeah. And so he's a very salesman person and good for him. He's like, I think he's actually like only 15-ish.
Yeah, like 15, 16. I think he has a learner's permit. He doesn't even have a license to drive.
But he's like hustling out there on the streets of Hollywood. And the tourists he's encountering, they're wearing matching Hollywood sweatshirts and hats. And there are also actors who are like the people that were in that one thing, which I love.
Totally.
And the ancillary characters in this are almost more famous than the people.
They truly are. Like Clint Howard is the guy. I forget the gal's name, but crazy.
And Clint Howard is in The Grinch, Apollo 13, Terrifier 3.
I saw that when I was looking up. I was like, Terrifier 3. This is so crazy.
And the woman is in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. And like, we don't.
Good.
And while we reviewing Top Build Cast, we were like, we don't know what they're in. Anyways, this couple, the husband is like, nah, this is a ripoff tour. And the wife is like, bitch, I want to go on this tour and I would 100% be that woman. I'm like, you're taking me on this hearse ride.
You and I would be there in a heartbeat.
Well, we should go.
I think we should.
And I'm like, and meanwhile, they've already got this couple to go on this tour. And I'm like, Cody, you be doing numbers in Salesforce.
Oh, he really is. He's a hustler.
You tracking those MQLs.
Yes. Oh, God. Ew.
I know.
Talk.
Sorry.
So then Cody and Bridget go to get Cody's uncle, who is the one that leads the tour and drives the tour. Bridget's like, bro, where the fuck is your uncle? Like, this is annoying. I just want to go to the go-kart park with you. You know, he's like, I'm pretty sure I know where he is. And they go to the bar. They find Uncle Morty there. And it's just sad because Bridget and Cody are kind of arguing throughout this scene about how he just has like a tendency to prioritize helping his alcoholic uncle over their plans and over their dates. And you can tell that Bridget, is like super frustrated.
Morty's a vibe. What do you think?
I mean, low-key, I love Morty. Like, no. I mean, he makes some questionable decisions throughout this film, but he has chutzpah.
Explain.
This is Mel Brooks talking. He has chutzpah.
Sure.
He's got something going on. You know
like energy?
He's got good energy. He's making things happen. He's lived a hard life, but you can tell he never lets it get to him. He just moves on to the next thing. He's resourceful. He's street smart. Yes, he dabbles in a little bit of alcohol. Maybe a lot. I mean, he's got a lot of skills. He also looks creepy enough to lead a dark side of Hollywood tour. So good for him.
No, I know.
He looks plays like the character well.
You don't have to argue with me.
I agree.
I already.
Sorry, I'm just telling everyone who doesn't maybe not like Uncle Morty, they should.
I fucking love Morty.
Anyways, so sorry.
They're at this bar and Cody brings Morty into the bathroom and Cody is like, Morty, are you plastered? And he's like, yeah, so what does that matter?
Yeah, you can't drive a bunch of people, Uncle Morty, if you were plastered. I'm sorry.
And good for Cody. He deduces that Morty is way too wasted to do this tour. So he does it himself and he's in the hearse. And I think that Cody loves doing this tour more than he admits that he does.
He loves it. And I love this part because I want to be on this tour.
No, I know.
And I love the hearse vibe. This is so us, Allison. I can picture, okay, you guys mark our words right now. I swear to God, we're going to go on a Hearst Hollywood tour and we're going to dress in funeral garb.
I am so down. But like,
we're going to dress like Death Becomes Her at the very end.
Or Helena. We have options.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe outfit change halfway through.
Yeah. I'm in. So he brings along Bridget on this ride and she's pissed. She's rolling her eyes. And I'm like, bitch, I would be so obsessed if this were my date. Like, you don't need to go to the go-kart park that you're supposed to go to.
Just go on this dark side of Hollywood tour and have a good time.
I would be so happy.
Then during one of the last stops of this dark side tour, they are up at, I think it's Harry Houdini's mansion, right? Or like the last place that he lived in Hollywood. And a homeless man like unintentionally scares some of the tourists. Like he just kind of pops up outside the hearse window. And after the hearse leaves, this homeless man lays down and he's got a bottle of whiskey. And he's like trying to settle in for the night next to this tree. He's just having a grand old time. And he's kind of laughing to himself that he like scared the tourists.
I'm also like, how did he get up there? Right?
Yes, but I think homeless people, I mean, they can be kind of anywhere. I mean, that's all they have all day to do is likely just travel.
But this is also like me. When I've been out drinking, I take an unopened White Claw up to bed, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to drink this while I go to bed.
You do that, and you giggle a little bit.
Yes, and it's my comfort claw. So he has his comfort whiskey.
He does. This sweet little homeless man, he lays by an Irish plaque on the tree and notices that his whiskey bottle is rolling away towards the tree.
This was an epic scene, and in Leprechaun fashion, he enters the scene in a bold, cutesy way.
The drama.
He loves the drama. He comes out of his tree and drinks the whiskey that he's like summoned in his Matilda brain. And then he's like, bitch, this Canadian whiskey sucks.
What's so funny is the producer literally was like, no way are they using Canadian whiskey in this film right now. So he was so happy that the Leprechaun made it a point to call out that it was Canadian whiskey and not Irish whiskey. And Leprechaun steals not only his whiskey bottle, but then sees he has a gold tooth as well, and he goes for that sucker.
No, and as he's trying to pull out this tooth, he's like, sit back, my friend. You may feel some pain. 'Tis a pity I forgot my Novocaine. And I'm like, dude, he's a jack of all trades. He's a leprechaun of all trades. He can be a cobbler, a dentist, a magician. What can't he do?
Nothing.
That is true.
I would like to see him maybe, hang some things on my wall. I'd love to see him maybe do some yard work.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him do a deep clean on the bathroom. Can he do these things? I don't know.
He can do all the things, and
but he can do a lot.
My shoes are dirty right now, and I could really use.
Well, we know he could take care of that.
Yeah.
We know that. Then back with Cody and Bridget, very upset. Bridget ditches Cody at the go-kart track. It's kind of funny because Cody drives her there and he's in the hearse still with all of the tourists. And he's like, okay, guys, quick 10-minute break. Everyone get out. And Bridget's pissed. She's like, bro, just leave me here. I'm going to go and hang out with this man named Ian, who is the manager, I guess, of the go-kart track. And he's their age or similar age.
Yeah.
He's young, but she's so quickly just like, bye, Cody. She's pissed.
What the fuck is this love triangle? Like, it is a love triangle. I'm like, Cody, my dude, Ian wants to fuck Bridget. You got to realize that, and you got to do something about that.
Absolutely.
Also, is Bridget kind of a bitch?
Well, I think we could deduce from this film that Cody is her boyfriend. So yes, she is being a little bit of a bitch by just being like, bye, I'm going to go hang out with Ian. Have fun with your fucking hearse.
But Ian elects to take that night off to spend time with Bridget, and maybe you should just stick to your hourly wage and get that money, honey.
Honestly, truly kind of creepy to me. Like, I just showed up and you're going to like drop your entire shift. That would be what I call an ick.
Ick. Is that another one like bet?
Yes. But
okay.
You know that one, Allison. Come on.
Okay, for sure. And there's a POV shot that I love, and they're all, the three of them are in the room, and we get it seems like maybe Leprechaun is like breathing and gonna attack. And then it's just a doggy.
Oh, yeah. It's like the point of view of the dog,
yeah.
right? And the dog's looking up at them. And yeah, you totally do think it is Leprechaun at first because it's like kind of brilliant because, I mean, Leprechaun is a little man, part of the wee people.
The wee
as
people.
He says. It's kind of fun because you truly do think it's like Leprechaun. And then it's like, no, it's just his friend. Andretti, which is a race car driver. So it's Mario Andretti is who he's named after. So kind of silly.
Props for creativity there.
I love that. Honestly, best scene in the house.
And it's bringing back like other horror films like Halloween and like those POVs.
Where they kind of try to trick you, but then like it ends up being something else. Like you're kind of scared as the viewer. So then Cody gets back into the hearse. He's over it. And he takes the tourists back. He runs a red light. He's just being like a little angsty little teen. And he ends up getting pulled over and inevitably taken to the police station because he does not have a license to drive.
Bro has a learner's permit.
Yes.
Shouldn't he be in school? Why is he hustling on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
You got to do certain things. I think if your uncle is a scary alcoholic that can't get sober enough to do his Hollywood dark side tours.
Daggers.
That's all I can say. So Uncle Morty picks him up and he's pissed. And while in the station, the homeless man comes in, the one that we saw the leprechaun hanging with and taking his freaking gold tooth. And he's talking to everyone in the station about how he saw a leprechaun. But of course, the police think he's crazy.
But homeless man just be spitting the truth. And they're like, LOL, it's St. Patrick's Day, now get the fuck out.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, you saw a leprechaun? Like, haha, there's probably so many around town, you know?
They could have solved a bunch of crimes just listening to this unhomed person.
Well, and Cody says to Uncle Morty, you see that? You keep drinking and you're going to see little green men, which I thought was kind of funny. So back with the leprechaun, he has now made his way into the city streets of Los Angeles. He has this weird thing with him that looks like a weird compass of some sort made of wood. We don't actually spend that much time with this specific little thing, but I don't know. It's like some kind of homemade location thing that he has on the sidewalk of LA, and he's trying to figure out which way his bride is.
Just a random question. Why did he come from North Dakota to LA?
He followed his bride? Question mark?
Fosh.
Or he followed the lineage of his bride through all these last 1,000 years. This is why we need the backstory.
Yeah. I need more context.
And while he is trying to figure out where his bride is, he finds a quarter on the ground, which he's quite intrigued by. He's never seen this before, a silver coin. As he's looking at this, there is this man that walks by him, and this man's a talent agent, very arrogant, kind of good looking, and he's got a beautiful gold ring that the leprechaun for sure wants.
He's giving Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, imagine Patrick Bateman, and that is basically who has stopped Leprechaun on the street.
He like gives Leprechaun his business card. I'm like, God, this is Hollywood.
Yeah, he's like, call me if you need work or like whatever. It's so LA. And we see this close up of the man's finger with the gold ring and him holding the business card. And Leprechaun straight rips the man's finger off to get the gold ring. And real quick, Els, I want to say, the producer and I, when we watched this, rewind this specific part 4 times because before the finger's even ripped off, you can see the makeup of where the finger is going to get ripped off. So I challenge you guys all to go back and look at that scene because I was like, wait a fucking minute. This already looks like a dead ass little finger. And
I did not catch that. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So there you go. And then Leprechaun's like, methinks I'm going to like this town. Finger licking good.
I don't laugh normally. I internalize my laughs, but I laughed the fuck out loud during this scene where he says finger looking good.
It's so good. It's amazing. Then back with Cody. He is moping around at home after he gets back from the police station after Uncle Morty has bailed him out. And he is looking at pictures of him and Bridget just being so sad.
I just can't. I can't tell the status of their relationship. Bridget is being a bitch. Like, if Facebook were a thing, would they say in a relationship?
Yes, probably.
And homeboy, just go find yourself a new girl. You're in LA. There's plenty to go around. Love you, LA girls. Like, he goes downstairs and Morty wants to play 3-card Monty. And I had this brain thing. I was like, Morty wants to play 3-card Monty. So that makes Cody realize because he's in a 3-card fucking Monty with Ian and Bridget.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Once I make my move, you're free to check the king.
He's gonna sacrifice himself.
Cody is free to check the king.
Oh my goodness. Well, after the go-kart track, Ian takes Bridget home and he pressures her into inviting him inside. Obviously, she refuses. She's like, no, dude, I'm good. Thank you for the ride. And I had fun tonight, but goodbye. And he gets a little aggressive and calls her a fucking tease. And oh, hell no.
Okay, to be fair, she is kind of being a tease. It's giving Star and Michael from Lost Boys.
True, but that doesn't mean he gets to come in just because she had a nice flirty night with him at the go-kart
I agree.
track.
I'm just saying.
Well, Bridget punches him, which I love, in the stomach, and then walks/runs away, which is kind of funny. And Ian is like, okay, well, fucking fine, bye. And as he's walking away, suddenly the garage door opens. And Bridget, appearing very seductively, is in the garage and she's apologizing to him, and she begins to unbutton her blouse. She's kind of swaying seductively too, kind of like what you see in like a weird 90s sexual fever dream. Ian, very eager to reconcile, by the way, is unaware that this is actually Leprechaun using his magic to manipulate his perception. But we don't find that out right away.
Ian, bro, why would you think this is normal? The garage door is opening.
How'd she get there so fast?
Yeah, and she's unbuttoning her shirt and the garage is literally open. People driving by could see. What are you thinking? He's thinking with his dick, which is like fine.
Absolutely.
But don't do that.
Ian leans in, and I mean, he is close up in her chest as she is unbuttoning her blouse, and we see her little cute little bra. Then she takes that bra off, and he is about to kiss Bridget's boobies. But instead, he doesn't realize that he is being lured into an active lawnmower thingy.
I thought it was a fan.
I think it is
Lawnmower?
some kind of lawnmower. It's weird. It definitely has fan function because it's upright and has like the blades on it, like a lawnmower.
I'll
Like,
take it.
I don't know. It's weird. But either way, it is sharp as fuck. And it definitely looks like it has 2 nipples on it. And a fun fact I have for this actually is that reportedly Siobhan Durkin used a body double for her topless scene. And I want to state here too, I felt a little weird because we were like, wait, isn't she supposed to be like 16? Like, it feels weird seeing a girl's boobs when they're like supposed to be a high school student. She was in fact 25 in this film. So even though she was playing a high school student, she was not underaged, but it still felt weird. And I mean, now I guess we don't know anything because this is apparently a body double anyways. But the funny thing to me, Als, I'm so sorry. Let me just get this out real quick. I don't know if you noticed, but like Siobhan Durkin, who plays Bridget, has very beautiful, like pale skin. And the person who they use for the body double is beautifully tan. And you can tell it's like just 2 different skin tones. It was so obvious to me that it was a body double.
Dude, even the way they filmed it, you can tell it's a body double. Like,
It was so
the
funny.
shots they did, it's definitely not Siobhan.
So the camera pans away as we see the shadow of Ian, and he is getting sliced up, and we see blood spattering on the walls. Kind of a pretty brutal fucking way to die, to be honest. Like, this is maybe one of the more brutal deaths that the Leprechaun has done.
R.I.P. And then the Leprechaun,
We see him show up.
he laughs, and in Bridget's voice, he's like, was it as good for you as it was for me? And then he does his amazing little dance away, you know,
So
his little gait that he loves to do. And I literally sneezed at that same moment as well.
You sneezed at that part?
I kept sneezing during this movie.
Were you freaked out at the sneeze?
No, because I love Leprechaun.
So you would have happily been his wife, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Careful what you wish for.
Okay.
Cody then eventually arrives at Bridget's house, and he is there to apologize. He does not know what just recently happened with Ian in the garage, nor does Bridget, because obviously that was the Leprechaun, not her, and she didn't know that that just went down. So he is knocking on the door, trying to come in. He wants to apologize and everything. And at first, she kind of assumes that it's Ian, and she tells him to leave repeatedly when he rings the doorbell. But eventually, she opens the door, realizes it's Cody, and he gives her some flowers to try to make things better between the two of them.
Cody's like, hey, boo, I was a real jerk today. And Bridget, I think you were the bitch today. You're teasing him. You're in a love triangle. Get over it.
He's just trying to help out his fam, okay? It wasn't his fault.
Again, I need more backstory. Like, did you recently cheat on her? Are you on Tinder and she just found out? I'm not really sure. And then Bridget says, Cody, I could never stay mad at you. Okay. Hear me out. The way she says this is so devilish. Her words say, I forgive you, but her face says, I'm going to fucking cut you like a fish.
I'm so glad that you brought this part up too, Els, because if you remember at the beginning of the episode, I was talking about how like the acting is very interesting here.
Yeah.
This is where we get really heavy into Bridget's character, and she starts having a lot more scenes. And I am so sorry, Siobhan Durkin, but I could not help but laugh at a lot of these different scenes just with the acting and the way that her like
Same.
mouth and her eyes are like so open and intense in every scene. I was like, girl, this is just making me giggle. It did its job. So
She's in a movie and we're not. So.
exactly. There you go.
But while they're having this conversation, Leprechaun literally jumps into the house and none of them notice.
And as that is happening, she starts to sneeze. And y'all guessed it, she sneezes 3 times. And Cody actually, after the second sneeze, I think he says gesundheit, just, trying to be funny, telling her bless you. But then after the third one, he's trying to say God bless you. But the leprechaun uses his magic to strangle him with a phone cord that is right behind him in the kitchen. So the leprechaun's not doing this physically. It is all like Matilda-esque, where it is like with his mind, and that phone cord is just strangling him by itself, which is scary.
What would you do if a phone cord was wrapped around your neck? We don't have phone cords anymore, so.
Okay, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like I have pretty good fast reflexes and instincts that if a cord even started to strangle me, I'd like put my hand in it and try to stop it from like getting any further. But I will say Cody does kind of quickly like grab the knife to cut it. I mean, kind of quickly.
He super quickly. And
What would you have done?
I'd like to say that I would.
I'd like to say.
I'd like to say that I put my hand up too, but I'm a first girly. But I think his spatial awareness really helped him out here.
Totally. I think the biggest thing that the cord was trying to do was to keep him from saying God bless you. Right? So it was almost like more of a distraction than anything.
Yep.
So then the leprechaun shows himself to Cody and Bridget in the kitchen, and they scream, rightfully so. I mean, this is the first time the leprechaun has been introduced to these two characters.
Emma, what the fuck would you do if you saw a leprechaun-esque person in your house? Just dumping around.
I would scream and I'd kick him.
Oh, don't do that.
Okay, you guys, I know this sounds so weird, but I have always thought that if I fucking needed to get out of a lot of different situations with different people, I would kick the shit out of them. The producer is cracking up right now. No, literally, it's like mini-me in Austin Powers. Like, I would kick the shit out of the leprechaun. Get the fuck away from me. And yes, he has magic, but I don't know this yet. I'm making just a physical response out of someone I just saw enter my home, and he scares the shit out of me, and he always has since I was a child. Allison, what would you do?
Be friends.
Be his wife.
Be his slave.
Good. Okay, well then you can tell him to not fucking come into my house unannounced. So perfect. It's my new brother-in-law.
I be. My bad.
Sorry, Kevin.
Wow. Cool. Anyways, Leprechaun is super stoked and is like, Bridget, what up, boo? It's not a proper wedding without a ring, and summons his pot of gold. And he finds a ring in there, and I'm like, is that the Patrick Bateman ring?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, that's evil. But Lep is like, with this ring, I thee wed, and he Matilda's the basically gold collar onto her neck. And I'm like, is this like grandfather's necklace?
Mr. William?
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely looks similar. It's very possible, for sure. Leprechaun recites, I've searched this fair land far and wide. At last I've got me a leprechaun bride. Which I feel like if he would have said that to you, you would have been smitten in a heartbeat. Then the leprechaun drops a pot rack holder onto Cody, knocking him out, and Bridget attempts to escape. And as she opens her front door to escape, she finds Ian's mutilated body hanging from the ceiling. And before she can flee, the leprechaun traps her with this magical gold collar, and he ensures that she can't escape. And as he tries to lure her to kiss him, so scary.
Ew.
She knocks his pot of gold down, and a gold coin rolls perfectly into Cody's fingertips, and he holds on to it, which is so smart. And as Cody and Bridget both try to escape now, because Leprechaun's kind of distracted at this point, the leprechaun does manage to kidnap Bridget and takes her to his underground lair.
And we love a lair.
We love a lair.
And Leprechaun says, ain't much, but it's home.
Honestly,
And
love that.
Well, sir, your lair looks dope as fuck. What in the troll in Central Park is this magical place? I hope you've seen that. If you haven't, Call me back later. And Leprechaun says, do you like this as your bridal chamber? And she says, fuck no, dude, it's awful. Excuse me, Bridget, you're awful. Okay? Architectural Digest would have a field day in this lair, so you can fuck right off. And regardless of that, Leprechaun says, boo, it lacks some woman's attention. You can help with that. And so what do I have to do to move in with Leprechaun?
I think every passing scene is just solidifying your love for the leprechaun.
100%.
And he tells her, he's like, Bridget, you're going to be my bride, bitch. And he's been waiting for this for 1,000 years.
At first I said, did I miss the wedding? Did we miss the wedding?
It hasn't happened yet, technically.
Okay. At least she's wearing white.
That's true. Her outfit in this part, when she gets lured down to the lair, is giving Labyrinth. It's giving David Bowie.
Oh, it is. Oh my gosh.
1,000%.
Yes,
with her little tight pants, her little weird shoes, and then the white kind of oversized shirt. Anyways, just a small note.
It's a vibe. And Leprechaun's like, you're part of the O'Day blood clan. And she's like, I'm not an O'Day. And going back, that was William at the top of the film. And he's like, girl, yeah, you are. I can smell it in your blood. It's giving Hannibal Lecter.
Ew.
I know.
That's all I have to say.
I know. Okay, maybe we don't do that.
Sorry. Oh my God. Now I want a nice Chianti.
And he shuffles over to his little bar cart, and he's like a bartender. He's so cute with his little shot glasses and his shakers.
He's getting her some whiskey shots.
Yeah. And I'm obsessed, and I would be married to him in a heartbeat.
I will say he's very hospitable, which I do love.
Yeah.
He's trying to make her comfortable.
But then fucking Bridget comes up to him and hits him in the head with a rock. And I'm like, what the fuck did you just do to my husband, Bridget? But as she runs off, obviously Leprechaun finds her. Leprechaun says, I am glad I got a frisky lass. I like to play games too. So he's a game man.
Bridget resists. She's trying to get away from him as much as possible. And he grabs a blanket with his Matilda powers and binds her with this enchanted blanket and explains that she will be giving birth to his litter and that he'll need to make some changes to her appearance so that she can look more like him. Otherwise, the litter will get confused when trying to suckle from her. That's so scary.
Fuck right off. And I thought you wanted a hot ass wife. And if you want, homeboy, at the end of the day, he just wants to be a dad. But like,
Allie's just seeing all the positives here.
Just be nice to your wife. Like, call her pretty, buy her flowers.
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
As the leprechaun is preparing for the nuptials, he weirdly dumps his pot of gold on top of her as she's laying down. And he's going through it and realizes that one of his gold shillings is missing.
And I'm like, why are you dumping your pot of gold onto your betrothed's stomach?
Good question.
Riddle me that.
Doesn't he say something like, something old, something new?
Let's be together on the leopard's gold. I don't know.
Something
like that.
Well, and he freaks out about this missing shilling. And Bridget asks Leprechaun if she can work on looking pretty for their wedding night while he is gone. Because he's going to go and try to figure out where that missing piece is. Which, honestly, very smart of her because she's kind of playing the game. Like, I think she's realizing, like, I can't really fight this because he's going to have some kind of Matilda magic shit to keep me here. But she's like, maybe if I play into it a little bit, let him go search for his little shilling. And then I will devise a way to try to escape while he's gone.
She's like faking the Stockholm syndrome effect.
Totally.
Yes.
Totally. And as this is happening and before he leaves her, he summons a wedding dress for her and he orders her to kind of prepare for their wedding night.
She offers too.
She does.
And
yeah.
It's a red dress. And I'm like, okay, is this more Princess Bride shit?
It is. It definitely is. Absolutely. So alone, Bridget discovers that the lair is an enchanted maze, which we kind of knew from that beginning. I mean, it's hard for her to try to decide where she's at or decipher where a potential exit is. And at first, she goes into this one part of the lair, atmosphere and the setting changes, and it looks like it's at her house. But then as she moves through the doors, the illusion fades and it reveals that she's still in the leprechaun's underground dwelling.
And while this is happening, the cops are at Bridget's house being like, yo, where's she at? I'm saying that was fast. Isn't there like a 72-hour like limit? Or like you only, it has to be 72 hours before you can claim them as missing?
I think what might have happened is having Ian being hung from the doorway might have alerted some neighbors, is what I'm wondering. Because I think if he was more inside, then yes, you're right. I don't think anybody would have batted an eye for a little while. But I think Ian is the reason that the cops were called because of his dead body and his remains.
fair
and
enough.
so it kind of brought everybody into like red alert, which was a little scary.
That makes sense. And I should know more about this based on how much crime shit I watch. But my bad.
Meanwhile, the leprechaun is looking for Cody, knowing that he has the missing shilling. Cody is with Uncle Morty, and he's telling Morty about the leprechaun. Morty dismisses him, of course, and doesn't believe him, and tells him, he's like, dude, Cody, the police are looking for you, bro. You need to, like, not be here. Because the police also saw that Cody brought flowers to Bridget. And so they're trying to connect the dots just with the evidence that they have.
Morty's kind of becoming the like hero of the story throughout the film.
He kind of is.
And he be an alcoholic, but he's like, yo, Cody, you would tell me if you were on meth, right? And how is he already sober? Isn't this like the same day?
Who said he was
That's true.
sober?
Producer says, who said he was sober? Like, I don't know.
Cody then educates Morty on leprechaun specifics, which I love here, and tells him that he can only be defeated with wrought iron. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, super interesting. And Morty's like, none of this is real because he doesn't believe in leprechauns. Emma, do you believe in leprechauns?
I think I do, and I'm going to use this opportunity to go down a small rabbit hole because I used to believe in fairies quite a bit when I was younger, and I went to one of my friend's fairy-themed birthday party, and we had like a fairy tea party and made little fairy houses, and truly, I would wait at night in our backyard where we had some mushrooms, and I would wait for the night. Okay, Allison and the producer are looking at me like I'm a druggie. No, we had cute little mushrooms in like a mossy... We had cute little mushrooms in a mossy area of my backyard. It was very innocent. And I would wait until the sun went down to go see if the mushroom lights would turn on to where the fairies live. Because did you guys not know that's where fairies have their little apartments? Okay, people that are fairy people, fucking stand up. I need some help here. Okay, anyways, yes, I do believe in leprechauns. Do you, you fucking asshole? They're looking at me like I'm insane.
Great. So you believe in leprechauns, right?
Yes.
But Emma, do you believe in the magic of Christmas?
Yes, I do.
Who else does?
Nobody. Scott Calvin, the Santa Claus.
The Polar Express
Oh,
does.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yep. You went on a tangent. That's where
did.
I was
You're
going
right.
to.
You're right. You're right. Cody deduces that the leprechaun is going after them because of Bridget. And he wants Bridget. And as Morty is saying that leprechauns don't exist, the leprechaun shows up and knocks Morty out.
And I think that I'm still always fascinated. Like, how is he everywhere all the time, all at once? Like, that is
It's a good question.
Leprechaun.
Yeah, he's a smart man. And Cody tries to reason with him, saying that he'll give the coin back in exchange for Bridget. But obviously that was not going to work.
And then during this exchange, he's like, yeah, for sure. And then he crosses the fingers behind his back. And I'm like, bitch, that's not fair. Question for you. Is this iron thing new? Like the trap?
That they like can't make it through raw iron.
Right, yeah.
I have no idea. I mean, I should have done a little bit more research on like leprechaun lore, but maybe if you remember though, Alice, in the first Leprechaun, he could not even escape a wooden crate because there was the 4-leaf clover was sitting on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really sure where the raw iron kind of comes into play here, but maybe because this is the second film, we have expanded on our knowledge of leprechaun lore in this filmmaking, and maybe that's something that we just like didn't know about.
Or they're just making shit up.
Or they're just making shit up. True.
Which I'm here for. That's fine.
Yeah. Morty and Cody narrowly escape this leprechaun encounter by escaping through the fire escape. They end up at a local bar that is packed for St. Patrick's Day and crawling with cops as well, too. So Morty is desperately trying to keep Cody incognito so that he doesn't get caught. And then no one mentions in this entire time how Cody is even allowed in a bar. I mean, he's 16 years old. So how is he even there? But anyways.
Small town. I didn't even think about that. It's Los Angeles. Holy shit.
Los Angeles. Yep. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But all of the cops are drinking at the bar, by the way.
So funny. So Morty brings Cody to the bathroom to hide him, and Cody thinks that the leprechaun might be in there because as Cody's in there alone, he sees under one of the stalls little like leprechaun feet, and it ends up just being a little person who is played by Tony Cox, who, if you don't know Tony Cox, he's fucking fantastic, and he was also a stunt double in the original Leprechaun as well. But he's fantastic, and he's all dressed up for St. Patrick's Day. He's ready to party, and he gives Cody a little gold chocolate coin.
In the bathroom.
And
I'm like, bro, I'd be sold on this immediately. I'd be having shots with him at the bar. 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this bar is absolutely packed also with other little people who are dressed as leprechauns and just celebrating the entire holiday of St. Patrick's Day.
This bar looks fucking insane. Emma.
It looks lit.
Yeah, it looks fucking lit. Bet. But Cody and Morty are at the bar reconvening, and Cody's like, bro, we gotta go. Let's bounce out of here. And Morty's like, dude, he's here. And then I love this scene. Pan 2, Leprechaun's sitting at the other end of the bar, just smiling and drumming his fingers like he's waiting for his drink, but he's just like, I'm waiting for your answers.
He's
bitch.
staring him from across the bar like he is a hooker waiting to hook up with them. It's like, you know, when you see in a movie two people looking at each other from across the bar, it is so fucking funny.
I'm obsessed.
And they decide to embrace it. I mean, Leprechaun comes over to them, sits next to them at the bar, Morty and Cody. Basically, he says to Cody, without the Leprechaun knowing, like, let's see if this man of the wee people, if he can go toe-to-toe with me in a drinking contest. And this is all happening in front of the entire bar, by the way.
I'll challenge you to a drinking contest.
You will win.
I know.
I love you, but you will win.
I know.
I'm about to be under the table right now. I've had a lot of JMO in this podcast.
'Tis the season. But Cody says, just, I'll give you the gold, just give me Bridget. And Leprechaun is like, dude, Bridget's a married woman now. And during this whole scene, Morty is such a vibe. He's taking control. He's being a man. And he says, hey, everyone, Leprechaun is newly married, so let's cheers to him.
So smart.
And then he starts to say, oh, maybe leprechauns can't hoard their alcohol. Like, bitch, let's do this. And then as they're drinking a bunch, Leprechaun says, drink what you want, drink what you're able. If you are drinking with me, you'll be under the table. And he rolls up his sleeves and then just pounds a whole ass bottle of whiskey. And the patrons are cheering him on. And my question is, why are they cheering him on? Isn't this confused? Like, isn't this questionable?
I mean, they obviously just think he's a little person dressed up as a leprechaun.
That's a lot of prosthetic work and makeup for St. Patrick's Day.
It's also Hollywood, though. So, I mean, honestly, I think if I saw a little leprechaun man in a drinking contest, I would also be cheering on.
Okay, but
the event.
I fully support you in that. I agree. But I'm not going to lie. I think that Cody needs to balls up because Morty is taking the lead on getting Bridget back at the moment.
At this point, yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. And meanwhile, Bridget stumbles upon a box, and she opens the box and finds it's called an owl, and it is like a stitching tool, I believe, or like some kind of very old tool, right?
Zero clue.
It's called an owl, AWL, and it's in a box, and she secretly keeps it with her as like a potential weapon that she can use for later. So just keep that in mind. Then back at the bar, the leprechaun unknowingly drinks whiskey while Morty drinks a soda. And what Morty orders from the bartender, I don't know if you caught this, Owls, But at the very, very beginning of the film, when Bridget and Cody find Morty in the bar, the bartender cuts him off and gives him some sort of drink to kind of sober him up. And I believe it's the same drink that the bartender gives him a bottle of now.
It is.
Right?
Yep.
And so there's no alcohol in it. It's like a soda, basically. And so as the leprechaun has been pounding whiskey, Morty's just been drinking soda and staying sober the entire time.
Good
The
for him.
leprechaun becomes so drunk that he can barely use his magic.
I think this was one of the funniest scenes in the film. And he's still doing his little rhymes. He's like, pour it all you want, pour all you can. You can't beat me because I'm a leprechaun. And then he burps. And I love the drunk leprechaun. And
That's literally you.
I literally said, I was like, I am the drunk leprechaun.
I am le drunk lep.
I am. And then Morty starts going back, like defensing, rhyming back with some riddles and stuff. And Leprechaun is trying to use his magic to beat his head with a dish, but the dish be too drunk to do anything also. Lingardio Wembo, you say it, Emma.
Wingardium Leviosa.
And it falls because the dish is too drunk too.
And after bashing Morty with a bottle, the leprechaun stumbles into a coffee shop where he tries to sober up. And the funny part here is that he's in this coffee shop alone, and the coffee shop person that is working there is none other than Michael McDonald. And he's being kind of like rude to him and sort of making fun of him being a little person and just like making all these jokes about him being Santa's elf and all this stuff. And fucking Leprechaun is like, bro, I fucking hate you, and kills this rude waiter who mocks him.
I mean, yeah, he killed a dude at an espresso bar, but like, haven't we all been at an espresso bar on a velvet couch trying to sober up?
Have we?
I think we have. No?
I don't know.
Okay, cool.
But I'd love to go.
Okay.
Maybe tonight.
I love that this is Michael McDonald, and it's a far cry from who we love and we know, Stewart from Mad TV. Is he kind of hot here?
I don't know if I've ever thought him attractive. So if he's hot for you, then
Good for me.
he's hot for you.
Sure. So after all the jokes that Michael McDonald has been feeding to Leprechaun, who's like hungover and like, fuck you, bitch, he's joking and laughing, and he's like, Leprechaun, you kill me. And Leprechaun says, well, that's an idea. And then he kills him by steaming him to death with a coffee machine, I think.
Well, he stabs him in the hands first, right? With forks or knives.
To, like,
or
keep him
something,
there.
Just to keep him there. And then,
And
yeah.
I don't really understand how coffee machines like work.
I have a question to the producer real quick, because you have worked at many a coffee shop in your past life. Is that something that could actually hurt you really terribly? I mean, well, don't get me wrong. That could obviously hurt you. It's steam. It's very hot steam, but could that kill you? Okay, so he's telling us no, it's not that bad. So interesting.
It's a facial.
So, I mean, if you think about it that way, we're looking in the positives. So then Cody and Morty separately, they have been separated from the leprechaun at this time because he went to go sober up and kill Michael McDonald. They devise a plan that they are going to try to trap the leprechaun in a wrought iron safe, which they have found at the go-kart track, as iron is what they've learned can kind of be the only thing that can harm him.
I don't understand why everything goes back to this go-kart track.
I don't really know why we're back here, other than maybe Cody just was like, hey, there's a safe there. Let's use it.
Sure. Also, again, what happened to four-leaf clovers? But like, I'll get over it.
No, literally, what happened to that? We haven't seen one
No,
this
I know.
entire time. Cody is able to lure the leprechaun inside through the doggy door in the go-kart, like kind of main office. And he's able to lure him into the safe and traps him. He locks him inside.
Are safes made of iron?
I guess, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I actually didn't really know. I mean, I knew they were like a hardcore metal, but yeah, wrought iron, I guess.
Also, poor leprechaun, my little baby boo, is being hurt in there.
I know. I'm so sorry. But, Als, in this part, I know you keep saying Morty is like a hero, but We're going to have some sad stuff happen to Morty in just a sec. So Morty, greedy for power after they have trapped Leprechaun in this wrought iron safe, he locks Cody in a closet in that office. And he tries to make 3 wishes, which apparently is part of leprechaun lore. Like if you trap a leprechaun, you can ask for 3 wishes, apparently. And so he tries to like start that process.
Again, that rule of 3. And once Morty asks Leprechaun, can I have my 3 wishes, bitch? Leprechaun is like, ooh, I'm dealing with a greedy man. Word, I can make this happen. Let's do it.
Which is so sad. Yeah.
And I'm wondering, I don't know enough about lore, but if Leprechaun is in an iron safe, will his powers work?
There must be something in the contract. If you have trapped a leprechaun, you're still able to make your like 3 wishes and their magic will still work. Not to help them, but to help you.
This is not Bedazzled. We don't have like a...
Oh, God, I fucking love that movie.
Is
that considered horror? Can we review that?
Yes.
Is everyone cool if we review that? Because I fucking love that. So Uncle Morty's first wish is for the leprechaun's pot of gold. And he doesn't specify how he wants the pot of gold. He's just like, bring your pot of gold out here. I need it. And this causes the pot of gold to materialize in Uncle Morty's stomach and stretches his stomach grotesquely with all of his fucking stomach hair. It is disgusting.
It's so Veruca Salt, and it gives me anxiety because I think I have nightmares about this.
It is so gross. It is like the full shape of a pot of gold, and you can tell he's very uncomfortable, and it's honestly very scary. I think as a child, I'm now realizing why I was so scared of this film. Like, it's so scary. Realizing his mistake, Uncle Morty uses his second wish to free the leprechaun because he's like, Leprechaun, I need to get this out of me. And the leprechaun's like, well, you can use your second wish to get me out of here, but that's the only way I can help you with this pot of gold. Then for his third wish, he asks that the gold be taken out. And again, he's not specific in his request because he's in pain and he's distracted. And the leprechaun complies and he slices open Uncle Morty's stomach, which kills him and very grossly gets the pot of gold out of his stomach.
It is so Bedazzled. Like, if you're not specific, then you're fucked.
No, you have to be so specific. And anything you wish for, it's kind of still like not going to be a good wish.
And I love this scene because Morty is like, help me out, bro. And Leprechaun says, love to you, friend, but you're out of your wishes. And I'm like, they would be friends.
They would be friends.
They would be friends.
Absolutely. As this is all happening in the main office of the go-kart place, a security guard confronts Cody, but the leprechaun tricks the guard into walking onto the go-kart track, hearing a young girl call for help.
The cop is literally holding a gun to Cody's head. I'm not sure if that's like kosher.
Maybe they do things different in Hollywood.
Also, does he look like Bruce Campbell? Just me?
I actually don't even remember what he looked like.
Okay, fair enough.
But good note.
But why would you bring him to somewhere you're trying to save someone with an alleged criminal?
Wait, what do you mean?
If you heard somebody you're trying to save them, why would you bring an alleged criminal? Because he's holding the gun to...
He just probably doesn't want to lose sight of him. He wants to figure out what's going on with the person calling for help, but doesn't know.
Bet.
I love this. Wow. Unfortunately, as the security officer is lured onto the track, he is run over twice by Leprechaun and his sick custom go-kart. And he says, I want me gold.
This is what I'm here for. Like, this is what Leprechaun does and should do. And it's a fully stocked custom go-kart. It has skulls on it. It literally says, I want me gold. And I actually want it. And this is in his arsenal of like, this would be in his barn.
Yes.
In the first movie.
God. Yes. In the first film, you guys, he had this barn where he was just materializing things that could just help him in his fucking debauchery. So yeah, just another thing to add in there. Alz, I don't know if you caught this, but he painted a 4-leaf clover with a circle and line through it. Maybe that answers our question a little bit if 4-leaf clovers are still kind of included in part of this lore.
Love that.
We have more questions. Cody realizes along in this entire process that as long as he holds the leprechaun's gold coin, he can't really be harmed because the leprechaun tries to run over him a couple of times, but because he has that gold coin, he's spared each time, and the go-kart kind of just runs straight through him.
And Leprechaun disappears out of his souped-up little cutie-ass car that I now possess in my garage. You're welcome. Cody screams up into the air, "I'm going to save Bridget! I know where you live!" First of all, this is definitely similar to I Know What You Did Last Summer, and what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? But also, does he know where Leprechaun lives?
Yes,
Did
because the homeless man shouted in the police station earlier. He said he saw the leprechaun in that tree by Harry Houdini's house. So it's kind of a thing that you could easily miss in the film, but he does know. I think he deduces like, oh, that must be where he lives, in that tree.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah, so he kind of figures it out. It's like, oh shit.
Well, as he's shouting these words into the air, then he goes to prep to go to the lair, and he grabs an iron rod and says to himself, "Have you had your iron today?" And I'm saying, okay, so is everyone working at Hallmark in this movie?
I think they are.
Okay.
I think they are.
Okay.
Then the leprechaun returns home as well and finds Bridget dressed for their wedding. She's got her hair done and she pretends to kind of have accepted her fate and attempts to seduce him a little bit to lower his inhibitions, lower his guard.
Release your inhibition.
Feel the rain on your skin.
Which she tries to do because she's like, touch my leg.
Oh.
Yeah.
Feel that rain on your skin, babe.
I know. And he's like, boo, I'm excited for this, but we have a guest coming soon.
Yeah, he knows like Cody's coming, bro. And she has that owl tool that we talked about in the beginning that she saved from that box that she stumbled upon. She's got that ready to go to hit him. She pulls it out. She tries to stab him in the back, and it doesn't break, but it bends on impact because it's not made of iron. It can't really do anything to hurt him.
I feel some kind of daggers for this because he was like, God damn it, that was my favorite owl. My dad gave that to me. I would be pissed too.
I know. He's like, now it's broken.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, you're right. That was shitty.
There's the same thing.
Me as your wife, that was shitty to do.
Oh my God. It's couples therapy.
Couples therapy.
Couples therapy.
Pretty enraged, the leprechaun prepares to punish her, but he's interrupted by Cody's arrival.
And Cody's arrival is pretty entertaining. It's giving very 90s. It's like 90s music with a flashlight and some iron rod shit. And he's like going in after it.
In one of the parts here in the lair, kind of during this kerfluffle, is what I'm going to call it, the leprechaun sends William O'Day's skeleton to attack Cody. It's so funny.
Cody says, "Oh, this is so cliche. It's a skeleton." And I'm like, okay, son, you know what you're asking for.
And during this part, I love this. Els, I don't know if you felt the same, but this is giving Army of Darkness so much, and I love it with the skeleton coming to life.
It gave me The Mummy, too.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see. I'm kind of like both of those. Ooh, another Brendan Fraser connection.
Opie love.
So Cody fends off this skeleton. As this is happening, he then gets ensnarled by some magical tree roots, but they do eventually vanish, realizing that a lot of things that are happening here are just kind of part of this illusion. During this whole process, Cody finally finds Bridget. Bridget has been working to try to break her magical collar with that broken owl. When the leprechaun corners Cody, demanding his coin, Bridget finally is able to snap the collar off at the same time, and she throws it at the leprechaun.
She's like, "Here's your ring back. I don't want it anymore." And I'm like, Bridget, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? You never wanted it.
That's true.
And then Cody and Bridget both run off, and Lep is like, "Oh, hey, this is a game of hide and seek? Let's see what happens. Let's go."
They do attempt to escape, but the enchanted lair just keeps leading them back to the same place.
The tunnels of this lair, I just talked about The Mummy, but it's giving Mummy vibes.
So much Mummy vibes. When it sucks because imagine how scary that would be. You're trying to escape and you're getting repeatedly just back in the same spot.
It's a literal I have nightmares about that all the time.
And Cody and Bridget eventually get separated. And Bridget, seemingly convinced that returning the gold will stop the leprechaun, persuades Cody to give it up. Cody hesitates at first, but hands over the coin after Bridget seductively kisses him. And then suddenly she laughs in the leprechaun's voice and realizes that it is another illusion.
So he just fucking made out with Leprechaun?
Yep. Yeah, they macked out. I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
But moving on.
Yeah.
The leprechaun knocks Cody aside, and it seems like he stabbed him, and he's weirdly preparing to consummate his marriage with Bridget. It's freaking me out.
Bridget is not concerned enough about this. I'm confused about this transaction.
Yeah, agreed.
And he says to Bridget, cry as you may, cry as you might. It's going to be one hell of a wedding night.
Yeah, that scares me. I think my fear comes from riddles.
I love it. I honestly think I would be like a friend with Leprechaun. So.
No, I agree. I think there's been several instances in this film that I could see you. And Cody recovers, and he impales the leprechaun with an iron crowbar, revealing that he had swapped the real gold coin for the chocolate one from earlier in the bathroom at the bar that he received from Tony Cox's character. Fuck yeah. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
And then as the leprechaun dies.
Does he die though?
He seemingly dies. His magic fades and the lair's exit is revealed, and Cody and Bridget are able to escape as the leprechaun explodes behind them. And then outside, Bridget asks how Cody knew that the one that he kissed wasn't actually her and that it was the leprechaun just pretending. And Cody replies that her kisses are different. And then she asks,
you gotta do what you gotta do, bro. Kiss a leprechaun if you need to.
And then she asks if he plans on keeping the coin, but he says it's not worth it. And he tosses it away. And then they kiss. And the film ends.
I wish you could all see what Emma just did. She just basically did a play sitting across the table from me.
End scene.
And fiend. That's how the movie ends. So I know we fiend, but can we talk about how Cody is still wanted for murder?
So true.
It's
a good thing we don't fucking see his ass again in this franchise.
Well, I haven't watched anything after this one.
I feel like every Leprechaun film almost needs its own trilogy.
Ian is dead, and we don't acknowledge any of that.
Yeah.
And
who's going to get blamed for that? Cody.
And there's probably a lot of ancillary things that need to be addressed, but Leprechaun can figure it the fuck out, I suppose.
He can. He truly can. Well, and Els, what were your final thoughts on this film?
Oh my God. Don't even get me started. Okay.
I feel like you have a lot.
I have so many. It got 6% right on Rotten Tomatoes.
Correct.
And I had liked it. It was funny. It kind of just took me away from distraction and I enjoyed it. But I could have used more barn arsenal situations, where he just pulls out roller skates or
a little more resourcefulness.
Yeah, the resourcefulness. So I definitely liked that one more. Where's your Mary Poppins bag?
Yes. Oh my God, he should have a bag.
I know.
Like Agatha Cromwell in
exactly.
Halloween Town.
But I love his little tee hee 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 dances when he does that. But this one was definitely not as good as the first one. But what are your final thoughts?
Okay. So I'm going to say I really didn't like this film. Could have done without it fully. And I think I'm just ready for Vegas. I'm ready for Leprechaun 3 in Las Vegas.
Is that where it is?
That is where it is. I just felt like we could honestly do without it. I think it could just not be in this universe at all and we'd be fine. And maybe that's a little bit harsh, but I've had a lot of Jameson this evening. I also want to say that, just overall the film, this sounds really shitty. There wasn't really a character that I really loved or vibed with besides Leprechaun.
See? That's what I'm saying. Leprechaun is
he's just the best. He's just the best. I was vibing with Morty a little bit until he turned into a greedy asshole. I was like, you know what? He's going to be a standout here. I did love that they have their little dark side of Hollywood business going. I was like, ooh, love that. That is fun. That is super fucking fun. Love that. But yeah, towards the end, I was like, this is such a fucking cheap shot way of him dying. I get it. It kind of goes along with him just being sort of like a very self-serving, like greedy asshole. All I'm going to say is, let me just leave you with this. Leprechaun 3, Las Vegas.
God.
Did you else think that this was scary?
LOL, bitch. The scariest thing in this movie was the acting.
God, I hate to say that. Is that like so dickish to say? But this acting was terrible.
No, I know.
It was bad. Morty did the best job. I would say if I ranked it, it was like Morty, Cody. Oh, well, Warwick was number 1, obviously. Sorry. But I'm saying like real human characters. I would say like Morty number 1, Cody number 2, and then Bridget. Bridget, I'm so sorry, but what the fuck was that?
Honestly, I thought her voice, also
Her eyeballs, I was like, what is going on here?
Can I just say something that sounds like a SNL skit? Was the dubbing on the sound mixing bad? Or is that just on me?
I think it was.
Okay.
Agreed. Yeah.
I still liked it.
So scary, no.
No.
I also didn't think that this was scary, but I will say that I don't think I saw this as a child. I know that we talked a lot. If you listen to our first episode on Leprechaun 1, I talk about how this really impacted me as a child and I was very scared of it as a child. I don't know if I ever saw the second one. This might have been my first time. I truly don't remember, but I'm excited for next year because I know that I saw that as a child.
My God.
Something else also interesting is that in the very first one, it was noted that they toned down the violence a little bit, where I feel like this one, they kind of upped it, right? Like I'm thinking like Ian with the lawnmower. Holy shit. And like just the tearing of the finger and like
Ew.
even just the homeless man getting his gold tooth ripped out and then him showing up at the like police station with like a bloody mouth. I just feel like it was a little more gory than number 1, right?
We'll fucking see what happens in 3.
Dude, I guess, right. Well, then, Els, what was your favorite scene?
I still love the bar scene where he's like, hoo, I'm drinking, and then I gotta sober up. What was yours, Em?
I think my favorite scene, Els, and you might agree with me on this being one of your favorites too, but like right after the whole like topless lawnmower scene, how we see the leprechaun and he has the voice of Bridget and he says, was it as good for you as it was for me? Like, I just fucking can't. It's so good. Oh,
Honestly, like, I know, I love camp, so I think this was a brilliant film.
I'm so happy that you loved it, Els. That makes me so happy.
Oh,
I'm like,
good.
yes. So that was Leprechaun 2. We are so happy that you came on this 4-leaf clover go-kart with us. And if you are not already following us on social media, you can find us at Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks on TikTok and Instagram. If you would like to support the podcast, you can find us over on Patreon and support our little spooky community over there. We also would love if you could share this podcast with a friend and leave us a 5-star review wherever it is that you listen. Allison, would you like to take us out?
Fuck yeah. If you sneeze 3 times, make sure you're blessed. Happy almost St. Patrick's Day, and stay spooky fuckers.